There are children playing on Omaha Beach. I can see them from the tourist bus, running along the sand where thousands of men died, building sandcastles where we built corpse piles, laughing where we screamed. 25 years. It's been 25 years since D-Day, and now there are tour groups and ice cream vendors and families on vacation. The beach is clean, beautiful, the kind of place people come to relax. I want to vomit. My name is Robert Kessler, Staff Sergeant, 116th Infantry Regiment, 29th Infantry Division. I landed on Omaha Beach at 0640 hours on June 6, 1944. Came in with Company A in the first wave. There were 32 men in my boat. 6 of us made it off the beach alive. I'm 47 years old now. Got a wife, 3 teenagers, a job at an insurance company in Baltimore. I'm respectable, successful. The kind of guy who coaches Little League and goes to church on Sundays and votes in every election, but I haven't been back to France since 1945. Couldn't. The thought of it made my hands shake, made me wake up at 3 a.m. in a cold sweat, hearing the MG-42s firing, hearing men screaming, hearing the sound my best friend made when the bullet hit his throat. My wife convinced me to come, said it would be good for me, said facing it might help. The 25th anniversary, a commemoration, veterans returning to pay their respects. Pay our respects to what? To the place where we died? Because the boy who landed here in 1944 didn't make it off this beach, not the real him. What came back to America was something else, something hollow. The bus pulls into the parking lot near the American Cemetery. Clean pavement, tour buses lined up, signs in French and English pointing to the visitor center, the monuments, the beach access. It looks nothing like I remember, but I didn't expect it to. Memory doesn't work that way. Memory keeps things frozen in blood and fire and terror. I step off the bus. My legs are shaking. My wife takes my arm, asks if I'm okay. I nod, lie, tell her I'm fine. But I'm not fine. I'm back in 1944, climbing out of that Higgins boat into hell, and I'm terrified that this beach will still remember me, that it will still know what I did, what I saw, what I became. The path from the parking lot to the beach is paved, smooth concrete with guardrails and benches every few yards. There are plaques explaining the invasion, maps showing troop movements, photographs of soldiers who look impossibly young. I was impossibly young, 22 years old, thought I was a man, thought I knew what courage was. The beach took 6 hours to teach me different. We walk slowly. There are other veterans in our group. 12 of us who came back. Some brought their families. Some came alone. We don't talk much, just nod to each other. We recognize something in each other's eyes, something that was put there 25 years ago. As we get closer to the beach, I can hear it, the ocean, waves rolling in. It sounds peaceful, gentle. Nothing like it sounded on June 6, 1944, when the waves were full of blood and the water was full of bodies and the sound of the surf was drowned out by machine guns and artillery and men dying. We reached the top of the bluff, the same bluff we had to climb under fire, the same bluff where German pillboxes cut us down like wheat. But the pillboxes are gone now, removed or buried or turned into monuments. The barbed wire is gone. The mines are gone. The bodies are gone. Everything is gone except the geography. The sand, the water, the cliffs, and my memories. I look down at the beach. It's a beautiful day, blue sky, gentle waves. That family I saw from the bus is still there. The kids splashing in the shallows. The exact shallows where Private Miller drowned, weighed down by his gear, unable to get up, swallowing seawater and blood. Is that where you landed? My wife asks. She's trying to understand, trying to connect the stories I've told, the sanitized, edited versions I could bear to share, with the reality of the place. I point to a section of beach, maybe 200 yards to our right. There, dog green sector, right in front of that. I trail off. There's nothing there now, just sand, but I can see it. The German strong point. The concrete bunker with the MG-42 that fired 800 rounds per minute. The one that cut down most of Company A before we even got out of the water. What happened? She asks. What happened? Everything happened. Death happened. Horror happened. The end of innocence happened. The moment when you realize that all the training, all the speeches, all the patriotic songs don't mean a damn thing when bullets are hitting the water around you and the guy next to you has no face anymore and you're screaming and crying and pissing yourself and trying not to drown. We landed, I say. We took casualties. We moved forward. The official version, the clean version, the version that fits on a plaque. The truth is so much worse. We walked down to the beach. There are wooden stairs now. They didn't exist in 1944. Then it was just cliffs and shale and desperation. You climbed or you died, sometimes both. My feet touched the sand. Omaha Beach. The same sand that was red with blood 25 years ago. But it's clean now. Light brown, almost golden. Washed clean by 9,125 tides. And I kneel down. Touch it. Run it through my fingers. This sand touched them. Touched Miller and Jackson and Thompson and all the others. Touched them as they fell. Touched them as they died. This exact sand, these exact grains mixed with their blood, absorbed their last breaths. How can it look so normal? How can it look clean? My wife is saying something, but I can't hear her. Can't hear anything but the sound of the ramp dropping. The sound of MG-42 fire. The sound of bullets hitting water, hitting metal, hitting flesh. The sound of Lieutenant Simmons shouting, "Move! Move! Move!" Before the top of his head disappeared in a spray of red. The sound of men screaming for their mothers, for God, for help that would never come. I stand up, force myself to breathe, to be here, to be now, to be in 1969 and not 1944. But the beach won't let me. The beach pulls me back. I walk toward the water. My wife follows, worried now. She's saying my name, but I can barely hear it over the sound of the Higgins boat engines and the Navy bombardment and the screaming. Always the screaming. The water touches my shoes, cold Atlantic water. The same water we waded through, weighed down by 60 pounds of gear, moving in slow motion while the Germans shot at us like we were targets at a carnival. I see it, right there, 25 yards out. That's where our boat hit the sandbar, where the ramp dropped, where everything went to hell. Thompson was first off, top of his class in training, natural leader, brave kid. He made it 3 steps before the machine gun found him. Just folded up and fell face first into the water. Never even got to fire his rifle. Miller was next. Tried to go around Thompson's body. Got tangled in the obstacles. Barbed wire and steel. The water was up to his chest and he couldn't move, and the machine gun kept firing, and I watched him jerk and spasm as the bullets hit him until he just slipped under and didn't come up. Jackson made it to the beach. Actually made it to the sand. Thought he was going to make it. Then a mortar round landed right next to him. When the spray cleared, there was just pieces. That's all. Just pieces scattered across the sand. And I kept moving, through the water, through the bodies, through the bullets. Don't ask me how. Luck, chance, the random mathematics of death. The machine gun was firing left to right in a sweep pattern, and I was in the brief gap between sweeps. That's all that separated me from Thompson and Miller and Jackson. A gap of 3 seconds. The difference between life and death. I'm crying now. Standing in the surf on Omaha Beach, 25 years later, crying like I couldn't cry in 1944 because in 1944 you couldn't stop moving. Stopping meant dying. So you pushed it down deep and kept going and never, ever looked back. Until now. Until 1969. Until I'm standing in the water where my friends died and I can finally let it out. Finally let it break me. We visit the American cemetery at Colville-sur-Mer. It's immaculate. Perfect rows of white crosses and stars of David stretching across perfectly manicured grass. Over 9,000 graves, each one a story, each one a life cut short, each one someone who didn't make it off the beach, or made it off but died later, or survived longer but not long enough to grow old, to have children, to wonder why they lived while others died. I walked the rows looking for names I know. There are so many. The 29th Division paid a terrible price on D-Day. Company A was nearly wiped out. Of the 197 men who landed, 96 were casualties in the first hour. The first hour. I find Lieutenant Simmons, the one who lost the top of his head. There's his grave, his name carved in white marble. Born 1921. Died June 6th, 1944. He was 23 years old. I find Miller, the one who drowned in the wire. Another white cross. Another life reduced to 2 dates and a rank. I find Jackson, or what was left of him to bury. Another marker. Another ghost. But I don't find Thompson. His name isn't here. I check twice, 3 times. Walk the rows again. Then I remember. We never recovered his body. The tide took him and dozens of others out to sea. They're not in this cemetery. They're still out there, still in the water, still floating in the Atlantic. Or maybe they're just gone, dissolved, become part of the ocean, part of the sand, part of France itself. A chaplain is nearby, talking to other veterans, offering comfort, saying things about sacrifice and honor and freedom, the same things they said at the funerals, the same things they always say. But here's what he doesn't say. It hurt. God, it hurt so much. Not just the dying, but the living, the carrying, the remembering, the waking up every June 6th for 25 years and being back on that beach, being 22 again, watching them die again. Over and over and over, my wife finds me at Miller's grave, puts her hand on my shoulder, doesn't say anything. What could she say? She wasn't here, can't understand. Nobody can unless they were here on this beach on that day. We stand there together, me and my wife in front of my friend's grave, and I realize something. I'm older now than Miller will ever be. He's frozen at 22, forever young, forever a hero, forever free of the weight. And I'm 47 with a bad back and gray in my hair and memories that won't fade. I got to live, got to have a life, got to grow old. But part of me envies Miller, because Miller doesn't have to remember, doesn't have to carry this, doesn't have to stand in a cemetery 25 years later and wonder why. Why him and not me? Why any of them and not me? What made my life worth more than theirs? After the cemetery, the tour takes us to a museum. It's new, built just for the 25th anniversary, full of artifacts and exhibits and mannequins in uniforms that look too clean. There's a gift shop at Omaha Beach, selling postcards and miniature tanks and little American flags, selling D-Day to tourists like it's Disneyland, like it's entertainment. I can't go in, can't do it. I wait outside while my wife looks around. She comes out with a book, a history of the invasion, asks me to sign it. A souvenir, she says. A souvenir of the worst day of my life. Of the day I watched 30 men die. Of the day I stopped being human and became something else. Something that could step over corpses and keep moving. Something that could see horror and not feel it, because feeling it meant breaking down, and breaking down meant dying. I sign the book. What else can I do? She means well. She's trying to understand, to connect with this part of my history that I've kept locked away for 25 years. But you can't put this in a book, can't reduce it to facts and dates and casualty figures, can't capture the smell of burnt flesh or the sound of men drowning or the feeling of being so scared you can't think, can't breathe, can barely move. We have lunch at a cafe in a nearby town. It's crowded with tourists, French families, German tourists. Yes, German tourists. Can you believe that? 25 years after we killed each other on that beach, we're sharing tables at lunch. A young German couple sits near us, early 20s, laughing, happy. The man has a camera around his neck. They're on vacation, seeing the sights. I wonder if his father was here, if his father was in one of those bunkers, if his father was the one firing the MG-42 that killed Thompson and Miller and Jackson. I wonder if it matters. The war is over, has been over for 25 years. Germany and America are allies now. The world moved on. Everyone moved on. Everyone except those of us who were here. We're still fighting, still on that beach, still in 1944. My wife notices me staring at the German couple, touches my hand. "Bob," she says quietly, "let it go. Let it go. As if it's something I'm choosing to hold on to. As if I could just open my hands and release it and be free. But I can't let it go. It's not a choice. It's not something I control. The beach is inside me. The beach is part of me. I carried it off in my boots, in my lungs, in my soul, and I've been carrying it every day since. You don't let go of something like that. It lets go of you. Or it doesn't. And you carry it until you die." It's evening now. The tour is over. Most of the group has gone back to the hotel. But I came back to the beach. Had to. Needed to. It's quieter now. The families are gone. The children who were playing in the surf have been called home for dinner. It's just me and the ocean and the falling darkness. I walk to the spot where I think we landed. Can't be exactly sure. 25 years and the beach has changed and memory is unreliable. But somewhere around here. This is where Company A died. The water is gentle tonight, small waves rolling in, whispering against the sand. Nothing like the choppy seas on June 6th, 1944. Nothing like the chaos and the noise and the death. But it's the same water, the same Atlantic, the same ocean that took Thompson. That took all of them. I wade in, still in my shoes, my slacks. Don't care. Wade in up to my knees like I did 25 years ago, but slower this time. Without bullets, without fear. Without my friends. The water is cold, feels good, feels real. I close my eyes and I can see them. Thompson, Miller Jackson, all of them. Young and alive and terrified and trying so hard to be brave. We were just kids. That's the thing nobody tells you. They call us the greatest generation now. Heroes, saviors. But we were just kids. 19, 20, 22 years old. Kids who should have been at college or working first jobs or getting married. Instead, we were here. Dying in the surf. Bleeding into the sand. Screaming for our mothers. There was no glory. Just horror. Just death. Just kids killing kids because old men in Washington and Berlin said we had to. I open my eyes. The sun is setting, orange and red across the water. Beautiful. The kind of sunset you'd pay to see. The kind they put in paintings. But all I can see is the water turning red. All I can see is blood in the surf. All I can see is bodies floating face down in the shallows. 25 years. And it's still here. Still vivid. Still real. My wife was wrong. Coming back didn't help, didn't bring closure, didn't heal anything. All it did was remind me that the beach is still here, still waiting, still holding on to pieces of all of us who were here that day, and I'll never come back. Never. Once was enough. Once was too much. This trip has broken something open that I'd managed to keep sealed. Now it'll be worse. Now the nightmares will be more frequent. Now every time I close my eyes, I'll see this beach, not just from memory, but from now, from 1969, from standing in the water at sunset, remembering everything I've tried to forget. They're recording this interview tomorrow morning, before we fly back to the States. They want me to talk about what it means to return, what I felt, what I learned. What I learned is that you can't go back. You can physically return to a place, but you can't recapture what was lost there. Can't bring back the dead. Can't undo what was done. The beach has moved on. It's clean now. Pretty. A place for families and tourists and ice cream vendors. But I'm still in 1944. Still wading through blood. Still watching Thompson fall. Still being the one who survived. There are children playing on Omaha Beach. Running where we died, laughing where we screamed. And maybe that's how it should be. Maybe that's what we bought with our blood, the right for children to play without fear, without war, without terror. Maybe that makes it worth it. But standing here in the water, feeling the cold Atlantic against my legs, hearing the same waves that washed over Thompson's body, I can't quite believe it. Can't quite accept that the price we paid, that Miller and Jackson and Thompson paid, was worth this. Worth tourists and gift shops and postcards. Worth a world that's forgotten them. Forgotten what happened here. I survived Omaha Beach, but I never left it. I've been here every day for 25 years. In my head, in my nightmares, in every moment of silence when the memories come flooding back. Coming back was supposed to help, was supposed to bring peace. But there's no peace here, just ghosts. Just sand that remembers, just water that won't let go. I wade back to shore, back to dry land, back to 1969, back to my wife who's waiting on the bluff, worried about me, back to my life, my insurance job, my house in Baltimore, my 3 teenagers who will never understand where I went tonight, what I saw, what I felt. We're flying home tomorrow, back to America, back to normal life. But part of me is staying here. Part of me never left. Part of me will always be 22 years old, coming off that Higgins boat, stepping into hell, watching my friends die. The beach took them. But it took pieces of me, too. Pieces I'll never get back. We never came home. Not really. Some of us are buried in that cemetery on the bluff. The rest of us are scattered across decades, carrying Omaha Beach inside us wherever we go, forever young in our nightmares, forever dying in the surf. The children are playing on the beach again tomorrow. They'll build sand castles where we built corpse piles. They'll laugh where we screamed. And that's probably how it should be. That's what we fought for. But God, it hurts to watch them. Hurts to know they'll never understand what this sand cost, what this water took, what this beach remembers. I'm leaving tomorrow, but the beach will still be here, still waiting, still holding on to all of us who died here, and all of us who survived but never truly left. Still remembering June 6th, 1944. Forever.